Welcome back to my Keep Up channel. Tears, tattoos and royal drama, why Brooklyn Beckham is really not talking to his parents. It's a showdown between the UK's biggest celebrity couple and one of America's wealthiest families, which has ricocheted between Palm Beach, London, LA, and Miami. Brooklyn Beckham and his wife Nicola Peltz Beckham are no longer speaking to his parents, Victoria and David, with sources saying it is because he has grown even closer to his in-laws, billionaire Nelson Peltz, Wendy's chairman, and Disney disruptor, and his wife, Claudia. It comes as everything the Beckhams have ever worked for has come to fruition. David, Page 6 has confirmed, is to be awarded a knighthood in King Charles's birthday honors next week, an accolade he has always craved, while his wife, who will become known as Lady Victoria, will have her own Netflix show later this year centering around her successful fashion line. However, insiders have now revealed the full extent of the family fallout, from Nicola running out of her wedding in tears to allegations the Beckhams tried to get their eldest son to sign away his rights to use his own surname, with a source saying, "It's all about brand Beckham." Amid reports that Brooklyn, 26, is being controlled by his wife, a source familiar with the Peltz family insisted, "Nicola's only crime is marrying Brooklyn, she's guilty of loving him, nothing else." Nicola told Victoria and David, "The only thing we wanted was your love and support." To this, an insider familiar with the Beckham side of things retorted, "Anyone who knows the Beckhams knows they are loving, committed, amazing parents." Even before Brooklyn, described by many friends as highly sensitive, wed Nicola, 30, there were red flags that trouble lay ahead, sources told us. The couple got engaged at her family's sprawling $100 million estate in Palm Beach in July 2020, just 8 months after they started dating. Victoria said, "I don't want you posting any pictures, I want you wearing my dress and I want to announce it, the engagement, in London," according to the Peltz source. This was roundly denied by a Beckham source, who said that the Beckhams merely invited Nicola and Brooklyn over for lunch to celebrate the engagement, where indeed, Nicola wore a yellow silk ruffled midi dress from Victoria's Spring and Summer 2020 collection. Victoria then said she wanted to make Nicola's wedding gown. However, the bride ended up wearing Valentino haute couture on the actual day, April 9, 2022, which took place at her family home. This sparked rumors of a feud with her new mother-in-law. Nicola tried to dampen things down, telling Variety, "A few months down the line, she realized that her atelier couldn't do it, so then I had to pick another dress." However, the Peltz source alleged Victoria had called Claudia, not Nicola, to say she would be unable to make the dress. Nicola, Claudia, and stylist Leslie Fermar then went to Pier Paolo Pacioli, the former head designer at Valentino, making 3 trips to Rome before flying over seamstresses from Italy to finish the gown. People keep hitting on Nicola, saying she won't wear Victoria's dress, that she was just a spoiled rich girl, said the source, adding, "The Peltzes bent over backwards to try to make things work." As has been reported, things went from bad to worse when singer Mark Anthony, a longtime Beckham family friend, performed a song at the reception. However, instead of the bride, he called Victoria, whom he dubbed the most beautiful woman in the room, up on stage to dance with her son. Nicola ran off to her room in tears and had to be persuaded to come back to the wedding, which was being covered by Vogue. Her face was swollen from crying and her friends were telling her, "You have to go back down. So many people came from all over for you," said the Peltz source. She finally comes down and is sad the entire evening. She, Victoria, took that moment from Nicola, that's the God's honest truth. This week, a guest who was at the reception told Page 6 Victoria was mystified by claims she ruined her son, Brooklyn's, special wedding dance with his bride. However, the newlyweds moved on and relocated to Los Angeles. Brooklyn has long sought to find his perfect job and currently runs his own hot sauce business, Cloud 23, but sources alleged he did not even use his last name for his work. Before Brooklyn and Nicola were married, Victoria called Brooklyn and said, "Daddy has a very big deal, you need to sign this contract," which he refused to do, the Peltz source said. An industry insider said the deal with Authentic Brands Group was tied to his father selling a majority stake in his brand management company, DB Ventures, for $269 million in 2022, and meant nothing negative for Brooklyn. The agreement that Brooklyn was asked to sign was to protect his rights because his parents have commercial partners who have some rights over the Beckham name, and so it ensures that the kids are carved out of that, of course, said the insider. It's entirely standard and is to protect the family. Brooklyn chose not to sign the agreement, but it makes no difference, as of course no one would ever restrict his rights. Sadly, by then, Brooklyn had gotten rid of all his own advisors and was only listening to the Peltz lawyers who either didn't understand the agreement or were being deliberately obstructive. Sadly, by then, Brooklyn had gotten rid of all his own advisors and was only listening to the Peltz lawyers who either didn't understand the agreement or were being deliberately obstructive. Over the past few years, Peltz insiders say Nicola and Brooklyn have struggled to maintain a relationship with Victoria and David. Beckham sources counter that the family has done nothing but support the couple, down to posing for cheesy photos at a London grocery store where Brooklyn launched Cloud 23 in October. "We are so proud of you, Bust," wrote David on Instagram using his son's nickname, Buster, my new favorite hot sauce. He had also invested in Cloud 23, as had one of Nicola's brothers. The Beckhams also paid for and hosted a London screening for Nicola's directorial debut, Lola, last year, while the family attended her LA premiere in February, all but David, who had work. Peltz insiders, meanwhile, said that Nicola deliberately wore a VB bustier and trousers to the event to support her mother-in-law. Another sign of trouble came when eagle-eyed fans noticed Brooklyn appears to have covered up one of his first-ever tattoos, Mama's Boy, which is etched over his heart. When he posed for Glamour magazine, in pictures published this week, the tattoo seemed to be mostly concealed by flowers, modeled after Nicola's bridal bouquet. A friend of Brooklyn's, however, said he had not covered up the tattoo. Things truly came to a head over David's 50th birthday celebrations. 6 months before his birthday, David told the family he had organized a string of events, a party in Miami, a fishing trip to Scotland that he wanted to share with his 3 sons, Brooklyn, Romeo, and Cruz, a family bash at the Beckham country home in the Cotswolds, a family day on his actual birthday and a swanky celebrity dinner at London Eatery Core. Nicola and Brooklyn were invited to everything. Here's where things are disputed. Brooklyn apparently felt very uncomfortable attending the events as his brother Romeo was dating a girl called Kim Turnbull, with whom he'd allegedly had a previous romantic liaison. The model, who previously dated Madonna's son Rocco Ritchie, has since denied anything happened between them. This, in itself, had prompted him to fall out with Romeo. Nicola and Brooklyn were in London on the week of David's birthday and offered to host a family dinner, but were turned down. We're told the couple said they could not attend the sit-down dinner at Core on May 3, as they were going to the Met Gala the following Monday and needed to fly to NYC for Nicola's fitting. But, as Page 6 has confirmed with multiple sources, they were never invited. This constant and willful misrepresentation of events to throw toxic abuse at the Beckhams is becoming very tedious. "None of it is backed up with any facts," said the Beckham source, adding, "The Beckhams don't care about nonsense stories, they only care about their son." As for Nicola and Beckham, who this week hired Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's UK lawyer, Jenny Affia at Schillings to start dismantling hurtful stories, the Peltz source said, regarding a relationship with David and Victoria, that is Brooklyn and Nicola's decision, whatever they decide is what they decide. It remains to be seen if Brooklyn will even be there to watch his dad finally be knighted, if not it will be very telling that the split has grown to a chasm. Source, page6.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.